Today, I want to spend some time thanking the many subscribers who have subscribed to this platform over the last month. Amusingly, over the last month, we would have had over over 15,000 new subscribers who would have subscribed to these platforms. So I want to say thank you from the depths of my heart for taking the time to listen to our program, to find the content interesting, and to subscribe. Now, before we get started today, I want to encourage new viewers to like, subscribe, and share. So you will be the first to get these content that we are bringing to you on a regular basis. Today, we're going to be having a pretty interesting conversation, and I have a team of dynamic personality here with me to do that deep dive into this program. Today, we're going to be looking at habits and data, the business startup dilemma. And just let me lay some groundwork here. The research is showing that 20.8% of business startups fail in the first year. When you look back at 2021, you see this. In 2022, we had 40% of those business startups that fail. And in 2023, we had 49.9% of business startups that fail. Again, what the facts are showing is that many business startups, they are not necessarily in the business of collecting data, analyzing data, applying data, and mitigating data. And these are some of the reasons that we are seeing the research is showing why so many business startups are failing. We will examine all of that today. Every business should understand what we call the factors of production. You need land, labor, capital, and enterprise. What many business startups may have is enterprise and entrepreneurship, but is that enough? Every rising star again in business, you need to have the right human resources, the right technical resources, and the right capital resources to move your vision forward. And in most cases, you do not have adequate or the right human resources, the right technical resources, or the right capital resources. My team here will help you to overcome some of those challenges and break that cycle of dilemma to put you now in a position of strength where you can prosper as a rising star in business. So with that being said, I want to now introduce my team of colleagues who are here with me to look at habits and data and the business startup dilemma. I have Frank, and Frank is an economist by profession. He is also a leader who really cares about people, and he always talks about the right leadership style that can help to drive your vision forward. I also have Paul, and Paul is a financial specialist who helps you to access the capital to grow and scale your business. And he's also a humanitarian, very passionate about ensuring that people get the help that they need to achieve their vision in business. Last but not least, I have Peter. And Peter, he is the brain behind Legacy Chronicle Human Development Initiative. And he's also the brain behind a concept that we call planning and planning. He believes in planning. And today he will talk to us about how personal life planning, how corporate life planning can play that significant role in helping businesses to overcome what we are calling the business startup dilemma. So with that being said, I want to welcome you to today's program. How are you, my team?
Doing good today.
Awesome, awesome. All right, to get the ball rolling, I want to start with Paul Whitehouse. Paul, can you talk to us a little bit about financial instruments? One of the dilemma that we talked about early on is the fact that many rising stars in business don't have access to capital because they don't have the data on where they can access capital. What we are doing is bringing that data to them, Because with this platform, we're going to help them to access capital. That's helping them to overcome one startup dilemma. And we're going to go through those other dilemma as we go into today's program. So can you talk to us a little bit about financial instruments that you have available at your disposal to help business through this start and growth phase?
Yes, definitely. That's a subject I love talking about. Okay, so Patriot Business Finance Consultants, what do we do and what can we do for you to help you? Uh, Equipment financing. Every business has equipment. Every business needs to finance their equipment or pay cash, but don't pay cash because you need to keep that cash for emergencies and opportunities. And you also need to keep that cash so that your balance sheet looks strong and your company looks strong. Because if you don't have cash in the bank, that's one item that's missing off of your balance sheet. It's very important. Okay, so what do we have available? When we help clients finance equipment, we do that through equipment leasing because that's the best way to get equipment. The biggest companies in the world use equipment leasing as their method to get equipment, to own equipment for their businesses. So if they're doing it, you really should do that. Follow the lead of the largest companies in the world. Let's move to real estate financing. Commercial and investment property financing, that's what we do for you. We do that through, well, we do all of our lending through a wide network of lenders who have money and they want to say yes to your deal. Okay, next thing would be cash flow programs. If your cash flow is slow in your business because you're growing and you're shipping products and you're completing your services, but your invoices, you're waiting for money, you're waiting to get paid. Well, that's your money. Matt, a lot of people say that your accounts receivable are one of the greatest assets of your business, and I agree with them. But it's your money and it's floating out there. You're waiting to get paid for it. You need it. You want access to your money. But the normal system is you issue an invoice and you wait till 30 days until they pay you. What if they don't pay you in 30 days? Might stretch to 40, 45, 50 days or beyond. You're waiting to spend your money, but they haven't paid you yet. How do you solve it? How do we solve it for you? With factoring. We set you up in a relationship with a factor, and they will purchase those accounts receivable from you at a discount. You might say, why would I sell anything at a discount? Well, because you need the money right now to operate and grow your business. Your cash flow is slow. Nothing's going to go without cash flow. I don't rap, but maybe I should try. Uh, So what's the discount? Depends on the annual volume that you commit to. If you commit to $1 million a year, your discount is less. If you commit to $100,000 a year, your discount is higher. So discount on a low range could be 1.5%. I mean, if you're doing 10 million a year, it'll be less than that, 1 point. If you commit to $100,000 a year annual volume, you're looking at 3 points. So the summit, to wrap that one up, you're selling your invoices for 97 cents on the dollar or 98 or 98.5 cents per dollar. And the benefit is you get the cash right now. Uh, Purchase order financing, you have a large order, you might have to say no to Walmart because you don't have the cash to fulfill that order. What's that going to do to your business? You had the opportunity to work with Walmart or any other very large company, but you had to say no to the order because you didn't have the cash to fill that order. You're losing on a contact, you're losing on a great business relationship, and you're losing on profit because you don't have the cash to make it happen. What's the solution? Purchase order financing. A PO financing company who we can set you up with will advance the money. They'll pay for the manufacturing they'll pay for the transportation, they'll get it to your end client. That end client pays the invoice. Everybody gets paid, you get your profit, and your relationship's established with that large company. You filled the order, you made some money. And as soon as you fill that first order, you're going to fill a second order because they're going to want to do business with you more. Okay, anything industrial hemp fiber, we got you covered. We love industrial hemp fiber. And raising capital with Securities and Exchange Commission compliant, very important, SEC compliance capital raises. We do that through our relationship as basically scouts for two investment bankers. And their goal when raising capital, you're going to love this one because this is important. Least expensive money first through progressive capital raising. There's a couple more things I missed, like sale lease back, or, oh, let me just throw this one more thing. Outstanding credit got you approved, and you know that. Difficult credit, you don't think that you can get approved, you are wrong. Can't get approved. So if you've been turned down by your bank that you've been with for 30 years, you think they love you, you thought they loved you, but they said no. Well, don't stay down in the dumps. Contact us, paul@patriotbfc.com. Direct message, email Gary. Coordinate with us, set an appointment up, and we'll walk you through the process, and you will be happy and surprised with the results.
All right. Thanks for that share, Paul. Now, for the listeners, if you recognize what Paul has done, he has given you a number of financial instruments that you can leverage right now to move your business forward. And this is one of the reasons why I continue to emphasize in business, it is necessary to understand financial instruments. Because in most cases, when you are thinking that, hey, the only way I can raise capital is by going and take debt funding, what Paul has done, Paul have given you 4 to 5 different financial instruments, and none of them represents debt financing. Paul just talked about leasing. You can lease and your way and access to capital. He spoke about factoring. All right. He spoke about real estate financing. And he spoke about, even went into the fact that whether you have good or bad credit, we have the capability of working with you and ensuring that you evolve above that, challenging point to now be able to access capital. Again, all of this boils down to data. What we have done to make your journey in business easier, we have done that data analytics. We have collected that data, we have analyzed that data, we have applied that data time and time again. So we are making this process easier for you. So you need to start thinking seriously about who you need to build partnership with in terms of overcoming your business startup dilemma. I want to come now to Frank, and Frank plays a very pivotal role in leadership. And I want to ask Paul, what are those leadership habits that is necessary for a rising star in business, or one that's going through the growth phase in business? What kind of leadership habits do you think is necessary? All to you, my friend.
Thanks, Gary. Good morning, listeners. For all startup, we call founders, leaders, they have a dilemma. And in this moment, you ask what to do when you don't know what to do. So let's interact. Starting any business is often equated with embarking on a thrilling adventure. However, every startup founder inevitably encounters the unnerving juncture where they simply don't know what to do next. It's what we call a perplexing conundrum because it's an inherent part of the entrepreneurial journey. And how you navigate can make all the difference between success and failure. And so, what I'll do this morning is just explore the intriguing and often tumultuous part of what to do when you don't know. Basically, a challenge and dilemma for any startup founders. Now, the first thing I think should occur is that means embrace uncertainty as a constant companion. Just embrace it. In any business, uncertainty is the start of what waves are to the ocean, an inevitable and ever present force. But instead of fearing it, what successful founders do is that they embrace the uncertainty as a source of innovation, as a source of creativity. And so when you don't know, consider it an opportunity to learn, an opportunity to adapt, and an opportunity to evolve. In the world of startups, the only certainty is change. The only certainty, I repeat, is change. And next thing is seek wisdom from the wise. You look at those persons who've gone before, and one of the most potent resource at anyone's disposal, founder's disposal, when you're unsure, is the wisdom of experienced mentors and advisors. So you surround yourself with individuals who have navigated the stormy seas of entrepreneurship before. They can provide invaluable insights. They can offer guidance and then help you see the forest of the trees when you're lost in the details. So when you're entangled in your inexperience, the mentor, the ones with the experienced ones, will be able to guide you through those lost paths. And now it is data-driven decision making, data-driven decision making. In the absence of a clear roadmap, the data that you have can be your guiding star. So you collect, you analyze, and interpret the data to make informed decisions. Whether it's customers' feedback, the market trends, operational metrics, data can illuminate the path forward. So you embrace the power of A/B testing, surveys, analytical tools to gain a clearer perspective of what you're doing. Experiment and iterate is another point. The startup journey is often likened to a series of experiments. When you don't know, you create hypotheses and you test those hypotheses. You need to be willing to pivot and iterate based on the results. And this iterative approach allows you to adapt to changing circumstances and then refine your business model as you go along. Cultivate resilience. Resilience is a startup founder's most treasured asset. When you're faced with uncertainty or setbacks or unexpected challenges, it's crucial to stay resilient. Understand that failure is part of the process. So instead of dwelling on it, view it as a stepping stone to success. And each setback provides an opportunity to learn and grow. You need to network and collaborate. And sometimes the answers you seek lie beyond your immediate circle of influence. So you actively engage with your industry peers. You attend networking events. You seek collaborations. And you'll be surprised how often solutions emerge from unexpected interactions. One thing you have to remember, you're not alone on this journey. And the startup ecosystem is full of potential allies. Stay true to your vision. Amidst the chaos of uncertainty, it's easy to lose sight of your original vision. Your startup was born out of a unique idea and a passion to make it a reality. When you don't know what to do next, revisit your vision, revisit your core values. What was your goal? What did you have in mind? What did you envision? And they can serve as a compass, guiding you through the fog of uncertainty. Now, you have to learn to be adaptable because it's the key. Adaptability is the key. In today's rapidly changing business landscape, adaptability is non-negotiable. It's a non-negotiable trait. Sorry. Be prepared to pivot, to adjust your strategy and explore new opportunities as they arise. Adaptation is not a sign of weakness, but it's a testament to your ability to thrive in dynamic environments. So the starters found the dilemma of what to do when you don't know. It's not a sign of weakness, but an opportunity for growth and innovation. So you embrace your uncertainty. You seek guidance from experienced mentors. Rely on the data. Experiment. Cultivate resilience and stay true to your vision. Remember that adaptability is your greatest asset in the face of ambiguity. So as you navigate this intricate dance with the unknown, you'll discover that the challenges you encounter, they're not obstacles, but they are stepping stones on the path to success. So you embrace the uncertainty for it is where the most intriguing opportunities often lie. Back to you, Gary.
All right. You made a very profound statement there. Embrace uncertainty as a companion. And I can simply say, for many persons, easier said than done. But in business, as a rising star in business, that's exactly what you need to do. I really love that you also expanded on things like networking and collaboration. And you also expanded a bit on data. And I do believe that with putting these combination of tools together, it can definitely give the business startup a greater chance and to be successful. I want to, Peter, I'm going to come to you shortly, but I want to now expand just a little bit more on some of what has been said. In starting a business, it's important to recognize that a business startup is much different. They have certain unique features. And from research, what we're seeing is that the factors of production, they have a challenge with this. This is land, labor, capital, and enterprise. But what can a business startup do when they have limited human resources, limited technical resources, and limited capital resources to move that vision forward? I want to introduce the concept that we call the MVO. The MVO is knowing your minimum viable offer. And just before I get into knowing your minimum viable offer and what it is, let me explain some of the benefits of looking at this. Now, you don't have adequate human, technical, and capital resources. And what the MVO does, it reduces the cost of doing business. It is an effective time management, meaning that it gives you an opportunity to manage your time better. It plays a major role in reducing stress because doing business can be stressful, particularly when you're trying to find the right human resource, you're trying to find the right technical resource, and trying to find capital resources, and you just don't know how. All right. The MVO gives you the tools to rise above these challenges. Fourth, it is a smart way to make market entry and increase your brand visibility. It is a smart way to increase the business cash flow, and it is a very unique approach to ensure that your business is successful. Now, let me just expand a little bit on what is the MVO. The MVO is the 1 in 10 factors of brand selection. One of the biggest mistakes that we see business startup do is that you come to market but then you go into market with 5 or 10 different products. And you go into market with all of these products, but then you don't have adequate human resources. You don't have adequate technical resources. You don't have adequate, capital resources. You don't have the factors of production. So when you recognize that you have limited resources to move the vision forward, you look at the 1 in 10 factors of brand selection. And that is either you go into market with your lowest hanging fruit, we call that your minimum viable offer, or you go into market with a premium product, we call that your most viable offer, instead of going to market with your maximum viable offer. Because when you go to market with a maximum viable offer, there is greater demand for human resources, there's greater demand for technical resources, and there's greater demand for capital resources to move the vision forward. So one way to overcome this startup dilemma is to really learn, apply, and master what we are purporting here as your minimum viable offer, the MVO. So I'm going to pause here for now. As time progresses, I will expand on this talking point, but I'm going to open up now to Peter. Peter, I would like to have your thoughts. Being an expert in your field of master planning, what habits do you think is necessary for a business startup to have, and how can master planning help them? You're mute, Peter.
Okay, there we go. Thank you, Gary. And I would just want to welcome our audience from wherever you are viewing us this morning, afternoon, evening, or night. So you're so right, Gary, about individuals entering the market, young rising stars, as you mentioned, and the habits that they need to cultivate, as you're informing our audience right now. Here is what, as you mentioned a while ago, that there's some unique factors that are necessary for individuals to understand as a startup. And these are the dilemmas that individuals will face. And some of those unique factors is what I package in there are certain five basic elements that a young rising star, as you mentioned, there are those five. They have to understand leadership. They have to understand leadership, and there are certain practices that are necessary, certain habits that are necessary for an individual. Frank mentioned quite a few of those habits that individuals must understand, and then they must understand research and development. They must understand product and service development, and the product and service development is going to come out of the research and the development. Then they must understand marketing, because the marketing is going to lead to the sale. In our personal life master plan, when we're talking to individuals, we try to get individuals, and even as you mentioned about the MVO, and that concept is very much important for individuals to understand. And we try to get people to understand their MVO by understanding that every individual was birthed, every individual was born to solve a problem. There's no competition really. The day we came came out of the matrix and came into life, the physical life, we were designed, we were actually sent to solve a problem. So the problem that we must overcome, the dilemma, the number one dilemma that we must overcome is discovering the problem that we were designed to solve. And it is the leadership habits that will rise now, because now you're going to take charge and responsibility that I don't know what it is, but I'm going to find out. So I have to take risk, and that is the leadership coming out. I have to take responsibility, and then I've got to develop those habits that is necessary for the individual to function as a leader And one of those functions as that the individual has to overcome, the next dilemma that the individual has to overcome as a leader, he has to overcome, as we said a while ago, the research and the development he has to now go find out. So what we empower individuals to do in all of this, it's going to take a planning. You're going to take planning. It's not just going to happen by the snap of a finger. Most of the companies that are successful, we see the Googles, we see the Amazons, we see the Microsoft, and they are in their glory days. But what you do not see is Jeff Bezos when he was in his garage. What you do not see is the Google boys while they were, I heard one story that they just took down a door and that was their desk. You know, what you do not see is the pain that is associated with the passion. So we encourage individuals. You have to have a plan. You know, you have to break it down into pieces. You got to break the concept into manageable pieces, and in those manageable pieces, now that is where the individuals are going to build those habits. Just take one component right now. If you're just there, if you're just coming out, you got to understand yourself. So you got to develop the understanding of who you are and your mission and your purpose. And you got to work on that. You got to refine you. You got to get into that place where you know you than anybody else. And you understand that when you step out, there's a certain amount of confidence and the habits that is necessary for you to stand confidently and to stand your ground and to take your charge in the marketplace. So it all boils down to planning. It all the design to have a design to master. You know, you have to master. You got to reach that level of mastery. And when individuals reach that level of mastery in the various components, in the 5 components that makes up a business startup, when you take mastery over those components and over self, then life becomes a little easier. They can penetrate the market and they can begin to, you know, make the money that they have decided to.
All right. Thanks for that share, Peter. Paul, I want to come to you. I want you to identify or help us to identify those in your field. You have interfaced with many persons over the year, and you have been able to assess applicants who are ready to access capital or are fundable, and you have seen those who are coming to you and they are really not ready. Can you talk to us about the success habits of those who are ready, and perhaps give us an insight to those who are really not ready for funding? But just before you go into it, I'm going to give some ideas. I want to expand just a little bit on a couple of points as relates to the MVO. I do believe that understanding the MVO for a rising star in business, it is a very unique to overcome some of your challenges and dilemma. First of all, you need to also focus on what we call market research on your MVO. You want to do the viability stress test of your MVO. Again, what we see is that many rising star in business, you just have an idea that you want a cash flow, but you have never really done the market viability stress test. And here you're not even doing the market viability stress test on one product, but here you're looking at 3, 4, and 5 different products that you're going to market with, and you're not doing market viability stress tests on none of them. And this again is one of the reasons why we emphasize the importance of focusing on the one instead of 10. All right. The factor of 1 is what you want to focus on. That's what the MVO is getting you to focus on. Now, let me go through some other benefits here. As you focus on the 1 in 10 factor of brand selection, you're also looking at how does your MVO align to your MVTM. Your MVO, as you know, is your minimum, most, or maximum viable offer. Now, how does it align to your MVTM? Your MVTM is your minimum viable target market, your most viable target market. And to ensure that the alignment is taking place, it means that you need to have data. All right. If you don't have data, you're speculating and you're shooting in the dark. So focusing on the MVO, when you have the right mentor, the right coaches to help you to navigate this platform, you have a major competitive advantage in going to market. Now, the other benefit that you get from focusing on the MVO, as you do that stress test, you're now able to not only assess the market size, not only assess the market viability, not only assess the market, size, density, and dispersion, but by doing this, you're truly now able to predetermine the viability of the market. Next step, as you're able to stress test your MVO, you are now able to identify if the product or service that you're going to be innovating, you're going to be now able to identify if it's going to reach an urgent need or an immediate need. And knowing this is important because knowing urgency and immediacy is a predeterminant of how fast your business is going to cash flow. If you don't know this, you're speculating on the cash flow potential of your operation. Next step, by focusing on the MVO, by having all of these facts, and by focusing on one, the factor of one, guess what happened? It's now easier for you to enter the market. All right, because you're not carrying several things, you're carrying the one. All right, the MVO, and you now get easy access to your MVTM because you now take the time, you research it, you have the information, you can now better integrate your product into the market. So I'm going to pause here for now because I've just wanted to establish some of the benefits of looking at the MVO and also show this as a pathway to help rising stars in business to overcome the startup dilemma. Paul, all to you.
Thank you, Gary. Your habits lead to success or disaster in life and business. So, I'm not going to try to make it complicated and make myself sound smart because it's extremely simple. To get approved for any type of finance, whether you're buying a car, whether you're buying a house to live in, or business financing, the habit that here's the main habit that gets you an approval or gets you declined, but then there's everything before that and during that. You got to pay the bills on time. I mean, a good credit score, a good business credit score comes from paying the monthly bills on time. That is the habit. It's not a mystery. That's what gets you easily approved or declined. What's the difference between an easy approval and a decline, or an approval with a high cost of money? If you pay your bills on the time, if you have that habit, you're going to get less expensive money all across the board when you're buying your own home, when you're buying a car, and in business financing. If you don't do that, then you can get approved still. You can still buy a car, you can still buy your own personal residence, but not always. You might just get flat declined. And you can always get business financing, but the cost of money is going to be double. It's going to be so much more expensive. Okay, so that being established, what leads up to being able to pay your bills on time? I think that's the real question and the real mystery to dig into. Your habits. Are you working? If I mean, if you're in business, you're not just working 8 hours a day, but whatever hours you're working, whether it's 8, whether it's 9, 10, or 11, or 12, imagine if you worked all 10 of those 10 hours. Because when people work 10 hours, typically they're really only working, unless you got a factory job and a job where you have to move constantly. Short of that, out of 10 hours, are you working 3 hours, 2 hours, 5? If you're working 5, that's only half. What are you doing the other 5 hours? You have to work. You have to constantly be doing, and building it and making it happen. So doing that, building your business, working, pushing yourself, even if you're tired, even if you don't think you want to do it, just do it and get it accomplished. And once you fall into the habit of doing it no matter what, no matter how you feel, it becomes easier. Just do it. Get up, put one foot in front of the other. Make that your habit to put one foot in front of the other. Always be making forward progress. Even if you have a little disaster or something bad happens, that little thing wouldn't have happened if you weren't moving forward. Move forward, conquer it, keep on going. There's a goal in sight. So I think you have to make there's so many good habits that you want to have, but one habit is constantly be moving towards your goal and getting towards that goal, putting out your minimum viable offer, if that's the route, or your maximum. Get those out there to make money. Keep on doing it. Cash flow builds, business improves. You have the ability to make all of your monthly payments on time, personal and business. And that takes you to the point to where business financing becomes easy, 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 easy. And you're saving the most money. Good habits are going to take you towards easy financing approvals, no stress, and low cost of money. Bad habits in life and business will take you towards the most expensive money and maybe getting declined. Um, and every dollar you save goes right to your bottom line and into your pocket and into your kids' pockets for future generations. It's that important.
All right, thanks for that share, Paul. And it's always important to learn these um, right habits. Paul has years of experience. Everyone here have years of experience. So what we're simply trying to do is to share with you those essential habits that you should learn, apply, and master to be able to break through your business startup dilemma. Before I come to Frank, I just want to emphasize and re-emphasize this. You need to get the right habits around stress testing your business model. All right, get the right habits. It's collecting data and stress testing that data so you know that you're making the right business decision. Um, Ensure that you build right habits around identifying whether your products and services is going to reach an urgent and immediate need. You want to know this. Your habits is going to predetermine how successful you're going to be in business. You want to get the right habits around putting yourself in that position of strength to really identify your ideal client and to basically see if they have the ability and the willingness to invest in your products and services. You want to know before you get started that they are willing to invest in your MVO, your minimum viable offer, your most viable offer, your maximum viable offer, depending on where you're at. Having this kind of information, having the data, is what's going to put you on that pathway to be more successful in the things that you're doing and the things that you're going after. So I just want to reemphasize that. Frank, all to you. What are your thoughts on the conversation so far?
Yes, very good points raised. And what I want to add is that when we talk about starting business, for everyone's a personal journey. And in this personal journey, one of the requirements is absolute attention and effort. Because founders often create business that reflect who they are as a person, meaning that personal habits and motivations can commonly creep into business proceedings. But what we have to make sure as founders is important to ensure that we recognize when we are doing something for the benefit of the business or just for ourselves. Because these lines can become blurred when you're at the helm of a startup. Um, the first thing I always think about is how do you plan? You need to plan thoroughly. In every organization, there is a planner, or sometimes there's a spontaneous input. It can be in all our lives. But when it comes to the world of entrepreneurship, we need to plan thoroughly at all stages because it's a must. It's a necessity because failing to plan, as the saying goes, is planning to fail. If you have a if there's a lack of strategy and forward thinking, it will only lead to poor decision. You make poor decisions and you leave your startup without a real sense of direction. If you're not an effective planner, perhaps considering bringing someone on board who can help with that element would be a wise decision. You need to keep pace with market and industry developments. So industries and markets are forever changing, and this means you have to change with them. Many entrepreneurs start business off the back of knowledge or experience that they gather from previous roles. But this knowledge can be outdated and irrelevant in certain industries. Digital transformation is determining the future of all industries at the moment. And you'd be smart to attend events and conferences to boost your insight. Perhaps you could stay in a service apartment for a few nights and expand your knowledge through talks, through seminars, and trade shows. You need to bring the right people on board because the key to a successful startup is surrounding yourself with right people who can support your ambitions and efforts. And this refers to both employment, if you're at that stage, or just friends and family, if you're still relatively new. People that you're trusting with your business should share similar enthusiasm or passion for what you're trying to achieve, or at least understand its importance to you. Entrepreneurs need to recognize where their strengths and weaknesses lie and how they can benefit from the support of others. Some people believe in chasing profits. Of course, money is a significant factor for anyone starting a business, but it cannot and must not dominate your thinking or ambitions if you're looking to succeed in the long term. Take Amazon, for example. Jeff Bezos was solely focused on customer satisfaction and experience when he started the company decades ago, and this allowed him to build a massive and loyal customer base whilst he barely turned a profit. Fast forward to today, Amazon is one of the biggest companies in the world and seen annual profits in the billions. Now, chasing profits while you're starting up is more likely to see you fail than succeed because you care less about the long-term viability and strength of your business and more about your short-term gains. So you're short-sighted if you're just thinking about profits, making profits. Another thing that some entrepreneurs fall prey to is cutting corners. And this can have a devastating impact on both your personal and professional life. You see, when things aren't done properly, the risk of accidents and mistake increase dramatically. And this could be avoiding basic car maintenance in your personal life, leading to you breaking down or being involved in collision. In the business world, it may be choosing a cheaper material for your product simply because it costs less, or filing your policy correctly, which can lead to many financial and legal implications. Of course, finding ways to improve efficiency or productivity is great, so long as it doesn't impact the quality of your product or service.
All right, thanks for that share, um, Frank. Now, today we are looking at habits and data, and we did say a lot at the beginning of this program. We did establish that we are seeing that 20% of business startups fail in the first year, 40% fail in the second year, and 40.9% fail by the third year. And we are seeing a lot of the failure is largely based on the fact that many rising stars in business don't have the right data. You're not collecting sensitive data, you're not analyzing sensitive data, you're not leveraging sensitive data, and you're not mitigating sensitive data. To be successful in business, you need to have the right information. You need to understand clearly how to attract the right human resources to help move your vision forward. You need to understand clearly how to access capital to move the vision forward. And on this platform, we don't only talk about the access to capital, whether it be debt, equity, credit, creative financing, or hard money lending. We work with you to ensure that you, as a rising star in business, you get access to capital. More than accessing capital, we talk to you about a financial portfolio. We talk to you about how to access, how to leverage, and how to mitigate. So with that being said, I want to come back to Paul, and I want you to talk to us a little bit more about capital and perhaps the BFC, and then give us your closing remarks, because we're going to start to wrap up now.
Okay. Hey, I just got a quick question for you. What you just said made me think of something. Is ignoring data, is not collecting information, everything that you described, is that a habit, or is that ignoring a standard operating procedure that should be done? Are you baking a cake and not putting the sugar in it? I mean, that's a
Right. It's an interesting question. It's both. It's a standard operating procedure. You need the right habits around those standard operating procedure. So it's both. People. I think the lack of information, and Frank would have said it. If you're getting into business and the objective is to cash flow optimize, the possibility exists that you don't have data on your ideal client. If you don't have data on your ideal client, you don't understand your ideal client based on matrix, talking about demographic data, psychographic data, and geographic data. You don't have that biodata of the ideal client because your motive is cash flow optimization. But when you follow the standard operating procedure in terms of growing and scaling a business, guess what? You're much better placed to be successful in what you're doing.
I guess make it a habit to follow standard SOPs.
You got it. You got it. They have to know those SOPs, and that's why we're here to really help them to understand that, so they can build healthy practice around it.
Okay.
Great point.
Okay. So what do? We get you approved for financing. Real simple. Whatever you need in business, as far as financing, we got you covered. Equipment, real estate, cash flow. That's all of it right there. And there's a lot of different angles on the three things that I just mentioned. As professionals, experienced professionals, we know those angles. We've already been around the curves. We've been down that trail. We've hit that jump. We can give you the advice. As Frank says, as we all say here, work with mentors. I work with mentors. I got several of them. These guys are my mentors. If I got a question or a problem, I can ask one of these guys and they'll help. People will help you if you ask for help. So back to what we can do for you. You need financing for your business. You need it today, or you need it next month, or you needed it last month. You need it, or you're going to need it. So choose who you work with. If you go to the bank, they're going to tell you what they can do for you. They're only going to tell you what they can do for you. They will not tell you, call Paul, call Gary. They've got less expensive money. I'm your friend. Go to where there's less expensive money. That's not what your banker's going to do. He might even decline you because of difficult credit. But that is what we do. When we set up a deal for you, We're going to set it up under the best circumstances with the best deal structure and the lowest cost of money. We have the ability to do that because we have a wide network of lenders to work with, and we've worked with them and we know what their programs are. Do their programs change? Does cost of money change? Yes, it does. How do we deal with that? Well, we look at their term sheets and we look at their rates before we send your deal to them for approval. And let me give you this information. There's the rifle approach, there's the shotgun approach. The shotgun approach is a lender takes your loan package, your loan application and information, and they blast it out to 20 lenders. That's the shotgun approach. You got a whole wide spread going out there. They collect all of those term sheets. They look at what's best for them. They don't really care, but they're looking at who's going to pay them the most. Okay. Um, the shotgun approach is bad. Do you run your credit run 20 times? No, I know that you don't. I know the answer to that one. So what does the rifle approach do? Rifle approach is we already know which lender we're going to take it to. We know because we worked with them before. So we're going to collect your information, choose the right lender, send it to them for the best approval, present it to you, and there we go. Got you done. Uh, that's how we do financing with the best results intended for you on purpose. And then the business finance consultant program. New year, new career. If you're looking to make more money, if you're not satisfied with what you're doing and you want to make more money and you want to be in a professional career, well, be a business finance consultant with us, Patriot Business Finance Consultants and Global Capital Incorporated. So what is that? That's me. That's what I do. I'm a business finance consultant. It's real simple, and we will give you full training, full support. We will turn you into an expert. You're going to have to participate because I can't do it without you. So if you do want to do this, if you are committed, if you want to make 5 times, 10 times or more the money that you're making right now, well, then you've got to get into a field that allows you to do that. Can you pull that off by making 20 or $30 an hour? No, you're limited. 30 bucks an hour times 40 hours is $1,200 a week. Sounds great. 4,800 bucks a month. Yeah, that sounds good. Take taxes off. You're at 8 or 900 bucks a month, but you can't turn that money into $5,000 a week. It's not possible. So to make a lot of money, you have to do one of two things. You have to be a business owner and sell a service or a product, or you have to be a salesperson and sell a service or a product. That really does equal unlimited income. How many deals can you close a week, a month, a year? And that's what we're offering you right now. Full training, full support to put you into the field where you're selling money to businesses. They're going to be looking for you. We're going to teach you how to advertise yourself, how to get clients, and we're going to be there to help you close the deals. It's not like you're going to learn the subject and be all on your own and have to get on the phone on a subject you're unfamiliar with and try to close that deal. No, full training, full support. You get a client for however long it takes. The process that we found is most successful is I work directly with you. Every client that you get, set that appointment. That's the most important thing at the very beginning. Get clients, set the appointments. The learning comes along the way. Of course, you got your training period, but the real learning comes during real life action training, dealing with clients. So you make that appointment, you get that client, and you play the new card. Hey, I'm brand new, just got out of training, but I want to get you on the phone with me, you and Paul, so that you can have all of the answers. And when that happens, you will hear me explain to the client how the process works, answer all the client questions, and close the deal. Ask them, do you want to do this? Because that's important. That's just one of the steps. If you can explain it properly, but you can't ask are you ready to do this? Then, because that's one of the things you're going to learn is how to ask for the sale, becoming a sales communication professional, which is asking for the sale, overcoming objections, providing a service or a product. In this case, it's a service. But that is everything that we're going to teach you. And what are you going to gain out of it? You can make a lot of money. 25% of the profit from every deal belongs to the business finance consultant. How much is that? Well, let's talk about a $500,000 equipment lease. 10 points, 50,000, 25. We would typically charge 3 to 5 points for that, 3 to 5% of the deal. So that's $15,000 to $25,000. Would you like to get 25% of 15,000 bucks? How much is that? That's $3,750. Do you want to get 25% of $25,000? That's $6,250 on one deal. Now, next question, how many deals per year can you do? If you're making 4,000 bucks a deal, can you do 100 deals a year? And what's the math on that? That's $400,000 a year. That's almost $500,000 a year. I mean, in Los Angeles, that's not a whole lot. In Warren, Ohio, where I live at, you're living high. You've got 3 houses, you got 4-wheelers, you got dirt bikes, you got that boat, you got whatever you want. Make smart decisions. Don't go crazy like that. But you've got the ability to leave a legacy for your family, to write that book, legacychronicles.net. Tell them the story of how you did it. And here's the story. I was watching The Competitive Edge, and I saw these guys talking about being a business finance consultant. And I was working a regular job. It was dead end. Or I was working a job that I just making a lot of money, but I didn't like it. And I heard these guys, and this is the story you're going to tell. I made that call. I went through the training, and I wasn't sure if I could do it. But then all of a sudden, I did it. And I recognized I did one deal. And if you can do one deal, you can do 1,000 deals. It begins with education, knowledge, commitment, and desire. If we can give you the education, we can give you the knowledge. If you've got the commitment and the desire to do it, because that's the ingredients that we need. We got what we can give to you. We need that from you. I don't want to waste your time, and I don't want to waste my time. Let me rephrase that. Sometimes I put so much time into somebody when maybe it was a waste, but I don't care because I'm trying to get to that good end result. But what we need from you is commitment and desire to excel. And we're going to put you in the position, we're going to put you in a field that gives you the ability to do that. We want to work with you. Paul at patriotbfc.com, DM Gary, right there's our phone numbers. Right there's Global Capital Fund Ltd at gmail.com. Email Gary, email me, set that appointment, learn about what we have to offer. And let's do it. Back to you, Gary.
Okay. Thanks for that share, Paul. Now, I want to also emphasize this to our listening audience. And again, I want to thank, over the last month, we have over 15,000 new subscribers who have joined this platform. And I want to thank you from the depths of my heart for helping me to grow this platform. And for those rising star in business, we are here to help you to overcome what we are calling the business startup dilemma. We are fully aware that many businesses, you struggle to access capital. On this platform, you don't have to struggle. That's one dilemma that we're going to help you to get past. You have just heard Paul talk about the multiple financial portfolios that he has available. The collective, we have much more than that to help you to access capital, but you also heard him talk about the BFC. The reason we have started the BFC, the Business Finance Consultant Program, is that we're training 100 persons or possibly more to really understand businesses. And they're going to come out and they're going to meet with you. They're going to diagnose your needs. And then they're going to innovate with Paul, with our team, to ensure that you are getting the financial instrument and that financial support to reach your objectives. All right, so we're on the road here. We are campaigning for your business because we want your business to grow and to scale in 2024. Along with this, BFC is we want to make you millionaires. You can come with a commitment, as Paul is talking about. In 1 year, you can do it. For some of you, it might take 3, 4, or 5 years, but the possibility exists that you can become a millionaire. And by doing your regular 8 to 4, it's not going to position you to do that. You're going to remain on that paycheck to paycheck cycle. But with this BFC program, as Paul is saying, you're going to be set up to earn income from multiple different streams. All right. So I'm going to leave that for now. I'm going to come now to Peter to ask Peter to give us his thoughts and his closing remarks on today's program. You're mute, Peter.
Yes, we want to empower our listeners to understand that as they build those habits and achieve or acquire, build those habits to acquire the data, the information that is necessary for them to achieve, for them to win. In your personal life master plan, planning, as we have mentioned, Frank mentioned in a few minutes ago, brought some highlights on that as a leader as well, that the importance, they cannot underestimate the importance of planning. And in that process of planning, there are basic 5 components that is necessary, that is going to bring you the money. And first of all, we try to get individuals to understand that you don't go into business to make money. If you go into business to make money just for the sake of making money, it's possible to go down some roads that you do not want to go. The motivation of money by itself, in and of itself, can cause pitfalls that are you wanna avoid. Those pitfalls, those are dilemmas that you want to avoid. Going after money just for the sake of money. But if you're going into business, what you want to do is go after business because you want to solve a problem. And this is why we empower individuals to understand that every individual was born with a problem to solve. And what you're going to do, you're going to do that research. It's constant research. But here is the five things that I'm talking about. You got to know your mission. When you know your mission and you build those habits, those success habits around your mission, and you're constantly improving what it is that you are focused on doing, you're constantly improving yourself where your mission is concerned, you're focused. You just have one, as Gary say, MVO. That's your mission. That's what you're bringing to the marketplace. That's the solution that you have, and you're determined that you're going to do that. Those mission is going to lead you to mandates, and mandates are things that you just have to do. In order for you to accomplish your mission, there are certain things that you just have to do. And there go your habits. Because every day you're going to make that decision that these are the things that you must do in order to accomplish your mission. And out of that, you'll have a message, because you have to say something for people to be attracted to your mission, for people to understand what your mandates are. You have to say something. So you have to craft your language. And as you are pursuing your mission, you're going to find that there are certain factors that you're dealing with all the time, that you have to talk about all the time. And those things will become the language of your entity. It will become those points that individual will understand, that goes also into your brand. Your message is going to come out, and the habits, you got to discover and implement those habits surrounding making your message louder, stronger, and more easily understood. And then you have your market. Your message is going to penetrate your market. As you keep on speaking, somebody will understand what you are talking about. They will be attracted to you. People will, as they will often talk about, the pull factor. Your message is going to bring about that pull factor. People just begin to attract to what your message is talking about from your market, and out of your market, you're going to have your movement. Your movement. There are some persons who they just love Nike, no matter what. You can't do it. Nike is just their thing. They have the shirt, they have the bag, they have the t-shirt, they have everything that Nike. That's your movement. When people surround themselves around what it is that you have brought to the marketplace, they may never know you personally, but persons have decided that what you have produced and what you have introduced to the marketplace, it makes them feel good. It solves their problem, and they have pitched their tent around your product, your service, your brand, and they are your loyal audience, your movement that you can establish. And all once you have your movement, you keep on serving your movement, because here's the end result now. The money is going to come. So look at your mission, your mandate, your message, your market, and your movement, and the money will follow. Thank you, Gary.
The Power Five.
Yes.
All right, thanks for that share, Peter. Look at the mission, the movements, the rest of the money will follow. I love that. Put people above the money, and the money always follows. Frank, all to you, my friend. Your closing thoughts.
Peter, like that rapping.
All right.
I thought I heard Paul say you want to become a rapper, but Peter's beating you.
Let's join together, Paul. I'll do the lyrics and you do the rapping.
Okay. All right. That sounds awesome. The dynamic duo.
Frank,
The
you're leaving
the
you
Schnizzle
behind
Boys.
Oh yeah, this is fun. As closing off, I want to just make sure that you follow the right principles. And the first step is understanding the mechanics of how capital works. And Gary, you would know about venture capitals, because with let's say VC. With VC funded startups, funders has to accept that there is little likelihood of owning the maximum share in the company, and this acknowledgement ensures that the expectations from investors are clear, and the entrepreneur can focus on what he or she does best, creating value for the long term. So I would encourage entrepreneurs to keep these principles in mind. First, think of control as a unique ability to create value and therefore wealth for your business. Know that venture capital or VC funding is predicated on this mindset. So, because the more value you can bring, the more significant the changes that VC funding can set in motion. Embrace change and be aware that wealth creation can happen in many ways. Now, if startup founders can understand these expectations, they can transform the startup ecosystem and be that vital bridge between the idea they brought to life and its realization into a much bigger vision. Entrepreneurs shouldn't let the fear of dilution hold them back from greatness. Because as founders, once you build your company well, and always think about how you're building value for the long term, you will indeed have long-term success. Thank you.
All right, thanks for that share, Frank. Of course, venture capital is important as part of the equity capital funding equation, but you've made some very, very valid points there. I want to end on highlighting some of the benefits of truly understanding the MVO, the 1 in 10 factors of brand selection, because when you understand how to apply this concept, you're positioned to be more successful. Now, these are some of the key benefits that you get when you learn, apply, and master the concept that we call in the MVO, the 1 in 10 factors of brand selection, which is your minimum viable offer, your most viable offer, or the maximum viable offer. You're able to accelerate the speed to market entry because you're focusing on 1 in 10. And the faster you enter the market as a rising star in business, with all the factors that I've talked about, you stand a good chance to start to cash flow your business. All right. Second, you're now able to enhance the accuracy in demographic targeting. Now, in starting a business, you want to ensure that you understand your target market, you understand their pain point. But as a rising star in business, when you have limited human, technical, and capital resources, the monies are going all the wrong places, and you're not spending enough money to diagnose your ideal client, to understand what are their needs and what their expectation, their pain point, so you can now innovate products and services that are reaching those specific needs because the monies are depleted doing other things. The third benefit is that you're now able to reduce the cost of human and technical resource needs because you're focusing on the 1 in 10 factors of brand selection. Next, you're able to reduce the cost of capital, again, because you're focusing in on the 1 in 10 factors of brand selection. The fifth benefit, you're now better able to cash flow your 1 in 10 value offer. You're better able to cash flow because you're now focusing on the one. All of your attention is on the one. All right. The last concept that I'm going to come to here, you're now able to leverage the profit into launching new products and services. So the smart thing here is to focus on your MVO enough for it to start to cash flow maximize. And as it starts to cash flow maximize, you now leverage the excess liquidity into innovating new products and new services that's going to help your business now to cash flow more. So there's a lot of benefits here. Today, we only gave a high-level overview. And again, I want to thank the audience from across the world who are looking at this program. Over the last few days, few weeks, we have attracted over 15,000 subscribers to the 2 platforms that we're using right now. And again, I want to thank you from the depths of my heart. We had over 100,000 persons who are visiting this platform. And I truly want to thank you for taking the time to coming out and be a part of this program. Again, I want to encourage you to like, subscribe, and share and comment on the program. If there's a particular topic that you want me to look at, I want to encourage you to put it in the chat, and I'll be happy to talk with you. If you want a one-on-one consultation, you're in business and you need that support, I do encourage you to send me a text, send me a DM, and I'll be happy to engage with you. With that being said, I want to thank my team, Frank, Paul, and Peter for being here today. It's always a pleasure rocking and rolling with you guys. We always say, let's get ready to rumble. That's fun. Right?
You did that pretty good.
That I'm learning from the best, right? Okay, Paul. So you guys have a great rest of the week ahead of you, and we'll do this again tomorrow.